Hi and hello. We're D2E, you're probably you, and this was a good idea I had until I started doing this. Okay? I had the plan for us to do our favorite games from each year, and I was like, well, how do I structure this? How do I do this? Because, we don't want to be talking forever, so I was like, how about 4 and 40? Okay. And that's what I wanted to call this. Top 4 games over the course of 40 years. That's older than both of us, I understand, but I was like, it's a nice number, I kind of like the way it sounds, I didn't want to go too old, I didn't want to go too new, I wanted to cover like the 8-bit generation. Yeah. I went too far back. So we decided, and as you clicked on this,
we have to go back to the future, Marty.
That's next year! We're not even there yet!
That's true.
1984. To bring you into 84, when I was negative 4 years old. Yeah. The #1 movie, Ghostbusters.
I like this plan. I'm excited to be a part of it.
The #1 song was freaking When Doves Cry by Prince, and I was like, well, maybe I'm just like my father. Maybe you're just like my mother. Never satisfied. And that's how I feel about the games after the video game crash of 1983.
Just like your parents.
Oh my gosh.
You feel like the video games are your parents?
It's gonna make me cry. Forget about the doves. Like, we decided...
When Andrew cries.
We decided, let's do this. This is gonna be fun. This is gonna be an exciting little thing.
Yeah.
But here we go. Dustin, I shall start. My #4 ranked game from 1984. Tapper. You familiar with Tapper?
I am familiar with Tapper.
I like Tapper. I like things that reference Tapper. Yeah. I don't care if we're doing Anheuser-Busch. I don't care if we're doing Root Beer Tapper.
I nearly put that
You nearly on yours. That's great.
I considered it, yeah.
So it's just a fun game.
It is.
You get punched for no reason. I don't know.
It's like working at a real bar. You get punched for no reason. People are demanding.
Oh my gosh.
There's like 17 bars that all jut out of the side of the wall for some reason. Just like every bar I've ever been to.
When you do the research, if anyone else tries to play along, and you look at 1984, one, obviously the video game industry is very young and a lot of things like weren't well recorded. Two, there aren't like great lists because it's like, oh, this came out in Japan 2 years earlier, and this came out here, and this So it's a pain in the butt to do early 80s video game research.
We were just like, okay, did it come out
in America in 84?
Yeah, that was the main
criteria.
The criteria. And it's so hard to find good info.
So that's my #4.
That's your #4.
Yes. Let me slide the root beer to you.
Okay. My #4.
Phone notes.
Flicky,
the arcade version, huh?
Yeah, the arcade version.
I've only played that on Genesis. Oh, real quick.
Yeah.
Please, let's hear some Flicky.
Yeah.
That song that is played underneath us is such an earworm for me. I did not consider Flicky. I guess I should have because I do love it on the Genesis. But good pick. So you just enjoy it, or?
It's slim pickings. I didn't play a ton of arcade.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
It was like I was just on that cusp of like that phasing out in like
consider where you grew up, I get it.
Yeah. And
see, my #3, I had something on here, but guess what?
What?
We're calling it Audible. I'm putting Flicky on there. Keep the song going.
All right.
I'm sorry, Spy Hunter.
Okay. I understand.
More Flicky, just right there on the screen. More Flicky. I love that game.
Yeah. So my #3 is another arcade game.
Yes.
Marble Madness.
Okay, interesting. Care to elaborate?
I like Marble Madness.
Oh, okay.
But it wasn't my favorite game of that year. It's loads of fun. It's absolutely addicting.
I'm trying to do the trackball.
Yeah, the trackball is truly the best way to play it. They did port it to 1,000 things, and the analog stick is a little bit better than the D-pad versions, but like the trackball is the best way to play. If you can find that arcade machine, or if you're good at soldering, you can cobble some shit together. There are ways for you to replicate that experience, but definitely if you can, trackball's the way to go.
My #2. Pac-Land.
Yeah.
I've learned to love that game over the years. First time I played it, I was like, "Ooh boy!" And it is a very early 2D platformer, but it has its own charm. It also gets to be a terrible Super Smash Bros. Stage. So that's cool.
Oh yeah, that one's like the worst.
It's really bad. But the game itself, for the most part, there are some frustration points. It's not bad. I like it. It's charming. It's cute. It's one of the few Pac-Man spin-offs that kind of work.
Yeah.
But I gotta give it credit for its early 2D platforming roots. So go ahead, you're number 2.
Alright, my number 2 is the original King's Quest for PC.
That's a good pick for you.
I love the Sierra games.
Right.
They're
jank as fuck.
a lot of times they don't age as well as perhaps they'd like to.
Yeah.
You kind of have to look at almost all point-and-click adventure games through rose-colored glasses.
That's fair.
And then you have to, like, find a thing, like, 6 screens later where you trade the rose-colored glasses for a ladder. And then you have to use the ladder to talk to the milkmaid, and then you give her the ladder so that she can get the cow off from the roof. And then she gives you a bottle of milk, and you take that to the other town, the town over, and then if you fight a dragon at some point. Either way, it's fun.
I can enjoy watching other people play those games. I don't want to go through the frustration myself.
Yeah.
Speaking of frustration, my number 1, Marble Madness.
Yeah, I fucking knew it. I knew it.
I love ball rolling games, and this is the granddaddy of them all.
It is indeed.
Oh my gosh.
I saw it and I knew it was your number 1. Before we even started this, I'm just like, Marble Madness is his number 1 game for sure.
I love ball rolling games, and that's a good one.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Again,
I did have fun playing it.
You gotta
Different
really
ports
put
of
the
it.
nostalgia goggles on for most of these.
Yeah, 84 is a rough year. So what is your number 1?
The OG arcade Punch-Out.
Yeah, I thought about that, but I didn't play it as much as other versions of Punch-Out. It's cool.
Yeah.
But it looks so strange.
Yeah.
Look at this thing.
The wireframe guy and
It's an interesting thing.
I mean,
Yes.
we will never get Vodka Drunkensky ever again. The original soda. But perhaps that's for the best.
Look, I'll give it its credit. It did start a franchise that I still love and keep revisiting. I played NES Punch-Out. I played Wii Punch-Out
you're
just
probably
recently.
never gonna revisit this version of Punch-Out.
Correct.
But it is again the granddaddy.
If I stumble into an
solid
arcade and it's there, I'll drop some quarters.
Oh yeah,
sure. Now we did our top 4 collectively, and this one seems pretty easy. The D2E Game of the Year is Marble Madness. Congratulations!
Good job.
We'll see you next year when the NES is released.
Yay!